Well, that was a surprisingly enjoyable ride through memory lane. I don't think I've had this much fun, just sheer fun, reading a book in a very long time. I think you're gonna like this one. Wait. Let's drink about it. Oh, you're back. Intro's over already. Alright then. Hold on a second. If you grew up in the 80s or 90s and were steeped into nerd and geek culture, then you will find a lot to love in this book. But even if you weren't and you're just familiar with the media, movies, video games, music that came out of that era, then you will still find an enjoyable read here. Are you at all familiar with Dungeons & Dragons, World of Warcraft, EverQuest, Golden Axe, Contra, Pac-Man, Joust, Galaga, Pitfall? Did you watch movies such as Ghostbusters, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Highlander, Goonies, Fight Club, Short Circuit, Terminator, Star Wars? Or TV shows such as Star Trek, Firefly, He-Man, The Simpsons, Knight Rider, G.I. Joe? Or listen to New Order, Wham!, AC/DC, Def Leppard, Duran Duran? Or read books such as Lord of the Rings, Dune, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy? Well, if you did, and I'm sure you did at least some of those things or are familiar with some of those things, then you will find something to like in this book. I've never been bombarded by so many references to my childhood all in one piece of media. Essentially on every page of this book, there was something that was brought up that I grew up with, and it kept reminding me of it, and I kept saying, oh yeah, that's cool, I remember that. Oh yeah, I totally forgotten about that. Thanks for reminding me. And that nostalgic feeling kept washing over me page after page after page, and it made me fly through this book really, really fast. The book, without spoilers as always, is about a near future dystopia in which there's an energy crisis and the economy has collapsed and people really don't have a lot to live for. But they do have virtual reality and a very advanced version of virtual reality that is almost indistinguishable from regular real life. And people spend most of their times in that virtual reality, and they basically come out to eat and sleep, and sometimes not even that. The book itself is written kind of like an adventure video game or a D&D module. Our players or characters have to complete quests to get clues to figure out what to do next in subsequent quests, and then unlock those and then keep moving forward as they progress through levels. The book is a first-person narrative seen through the eyes of Wade, our main character here, and that may be a little bit different than what you're used to. Most books are written in third person, but after the first few pages of this book, it becomes really natural to read it that way, and now having read it, I think it makes perfect sense that it was written in first person, and I don't think it would have been as good if it was written in third. Other good books written in the style of first person that you may have read or may want to read after this if you like the style are the Farseer trilogy by Robin Hobb or The Hunger Games. That was written in first person also if you haven't read the books. The story is a combination of Wade living in the real world and the struggles that he has to go through while there, and him in VR as he's trying to complete some of the tasks and goals set before him to try and become a more powerful character within the virtual reality world. We'll continue our discussion in a second, but first we're going to make this healing potion cocktail. Let's head over to the bar. Alright guys, welcome to the bar, where today we're going to be making a special drink. Actually, I changed the drink. I thought it was going to be a Pan-Galactic Gargle Blaster, which is ordered by one of the characters in our book. But instead, I think I'm going to do something else and save that drink for the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy video. So subscribe if you want to see that. Today we're going to be making something that is ubiquitous in tabletop RPGs like D&D and Pathfinder and many role-playing games and MMOs that you play online. And that is the healing potion. That's right, we're going to geek it out to the max this video, as is appropriate for this book. I found this recipe on another YouTube channel called Silly Goose Content, which I'll link below, but they make really cool drinks as well, and they pair them with video games. Let's go ahead and mix our cocktail. It's actually quite easy. We're going to start with 1.5 ounces of white rum. Captain Morgan or Bacardi would be fine. So that goes right into the shaker, which already has ice in it. And we'll follow that up with a half an ounce of Malibu rum or coconut rum. And that goes right in also. And then we'll need 3 different juices. We'll do 1.5 ounces of cranberry juice and 1.5 ounces of orange juice right in. Followed by a half ounce of lemon juice, fresh squeeze always if you have it. This is gonna give us a little bit of tartness, and that goes right in. Then we'll put the lid on and shake it. There we are. And of course, we're gonna serve this up in a potion bottle. So let's get that here, and we're gonna need a funnel to actually get it in. So put the funnel in, and the drink is gonna get strained right in. There we are. Now that doesn't look like a healing potion at this point, but just give me a second. In order to finish the tasting profile and to turn this a red color, we're gonna need an ingredient that is red, obviously. And here you have a choice. You can either go for grenadine, which I did when I initially made this and is in the introduction of this video, or you can go with the raspberry liqueur, which I now prefer. It doesn't give us that bright red color, but I think it's a good trade-off because it's a much better tasting drink. If you are going to go with grenadine, make sure you're buying a grenadine that actually has pomegranate juice in it as one of the ingredients. Many of the ones that are on the market currently are basically sugar water, so stay away from that and get the good stuff. I'm going to go with the raspberry liqueur, and you can just eyeball this, but don't put too much in because it's going to get really sweet really fast. So let's go ahead and put this in. There we go. And let's mix this guy up. Now we have that reddish color that we're going for. The last ingredient here is kind of an unorthodox one, but it's going to give us that magical sheen that we're looking for. This is called pearl dust, and it is edible, and it's usually used for cake making to give the flowers and other components on the cake a sheen to them. But here we're going to put them in our drink to give it a magical swirl. So find the smallest food tweezers that you can find, and we're just gonna put a pinch of this in here. You don't need too much. That'll do right there. And shake this up a little bit just to mix up the pearl dust. And it gives us this swirling, shiny effect. I don't know if you can see that on the camera. Now this is very cool, and I rather enjoyed making it, but if you're having an occasion like an office party or some other kind of gathering with normies in it, and you don't want to be walking around with a potion bottle, you can always serve this up in a regular glass and make it look nice. You'll still have this stark red color that is going to be a talking point in the party, but you're not looking like an uber dork walking around with a potion bottle. Not to say there's anything wrong with that. So let's see what that looks like. I'll just put it in here. And you can dress it up with a couple of maraschino cherries. All right, there we are, a more normal, fancy version of a healing potion, one that you could walk around with at any occasion and it would be perfectly appropriate. And let's see. Very well balanced, not too sweet, not too sour, a little hint of that coconut coming through. I think this one's a winner. Go ahead and try it at home. I'll link the pearl dust and the bottle down below so you can get a hold of that. All right, that's our drink. Thank you for joining me on this one. Now let's send it back to the rest of that review. Cheers. It would be remiss of me if I didn't talk about the movie for just a second here. I saw it just last night, and because I saw it right after I read the book, I noticed all the little things that were different between the book and the movie. They took a lot of liberties with the plot, both within VR and in reality, and they kind of rushed the love story, I felt, a little bit. But I understand you have to make some concessions and compromises when you take a 375-page book and turn it into a 2-hour movie. And you also have to kind of make it a little bit more palatable for mainstream audiences, and this is relatively geek and nerd heavy, so I understand why they had to change a few things that they did. Overall, I felt like it captured the spirit of the book really well, and it was an enjoyable watch. By the way, just a few days ago, they announced Ready Player 2. Coincidentally, I just finished this book, and now 2 is coming out later in November. There's a lot of big books coming out in November, so it's going to be a heavy reading month. But I'm actually looking very forward to that one. Alright, that's the Ready Player 1 video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you go out and buy this book. I think you'll like it also. And I think I'm going to dive back in. Until next time, cheers. Let's do this.
Leroy Jenkins.